the importance of creating a personal brand for business owners, general managers, whoever you are, what position you are right now. You need to create a personal brand. And the fundamental reason is that, especially right now, people doing business, they're doing business with you, not your brand, not your brand voice. A lot of company jargon, corporate jargon out there. They're doing business with you.
So joining me on the call today, I've got Reshan Jayamanne from BnB Optimize. Welcome to the call, Reshan.
Hey, David, nice to meet you. It's good,
nice.
So good to be here.
Yeah, maybe give us a bit of background. So what does BnB Optimized all about?
Yeah, so as the name says, we started as a BnB agency managing BnBs in Australia, but it's kind of moved forward to being a full stack marketing agency for hotel and resorts and real agencies both here in Australia and also other places around the world. And since the pandemic, it's just morphed into other niches as well in terms of real estate and different other service-based businesses. So we kind of morphed into a full stack marketing agency since the pandemic, which has been a really, really good thing. I think something that has, escalated our growth this time, which has been really awesome to see.
Fantastic. So instead of being instead of a fatality from COVID, you're a success story of COVID.
Yeah, we've been forced to adapt. So that's what I think a lot of business owners need to do in this time, is to see, pull their business apart and just see what are some ways that we can use what's going on in the world right now to make changes and adapt, really. So it's been an interesting year for us.
Yeah, fantastic. So tell me a bit about what the opportunities you see out there are, because obviously from your point of view, you pivoted, you've moved into different sort of industries, but those industries must be sort of have a high demand as well.
Yeah. So the opportunities that I've seen, being in the digital space, I can work from here in Australia, but have business anywhere in the world, right? And that's the idea. Opportunities for my industry that I've seen is very interestingly, in the travel niche, we've seen that a lot of people are still traveling, but more so in the high echelons. I would say the more luxury, like real luxuries types of markets, right? So we've seen people traveling to villas on like private jets, private boats, and still making way for their families to enjoy their life right now. And in terms of the real estate market, where I'm actually attacking and looking at is overseas to help agents and connect the dots between investors and real estate agents. And this is, I guess, the place where we're more so pivoting towards the end of this year and some opportunities that we've seen. And for other business owners, because I know that a lot of business owners will be watching this and having a marketing team as well, I think the biggest opportunity I've seen is the power of using videos. A lot of people are online these days, and a lot of business owners believe that their business is their brand, but really you are their brand. And people do people with you, and it's so important for every business owner to have a personal brand and leverage that by just creating videos like this and putting out content that brings value to your market.
Fantastic.
Right
now. Yeah, and I think what's happened is people are online more, and they're getting used to talking to people over a video link. And for those people who embrace it, I think it puts them in the front of the pack. And so it's a pretty interesting time when we watch the businesses change and the guys are jumping quickly, the guys that are sort of catching the front of the wave.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like a lot of our clients, including myself, have built a lot of relationships in this time, and that's been my main focus in the last 6 months or so, is to build quality relationships. A lot of time without wanting anything back, because I know that once the markets do open, those people that I've given so much to will come back. And that's the idea. I think a lot of business owners need to adapt these days.
Yeah, fantastic. So let me ask you on a personal level, what have you learned, or what lessons are you taking out of this whole event?
Yeah, a lot of it for me has been, as an entrepreneur, like you work, all the time on your business. And a lot of it for me has been purely just taking just downtime for myself and really prioritizing time for myself. Because I feel like if you're running a business on your own or managing a team, you're your business's biggest asset, right? And for myself, especially, I've found that in my morning routines these days, the first thing that I do is just go and exercise for a little bit and take some time for myself, not rush it. and in that process, listen to an audiobook or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Just to kind of feed my brain, get everything moving, and just really spend that time for myself. Because once I get back, it's go time, you know, and it's something that I really found to embrace. And being in Melbourne, it's been a lockdown for like last 4 months or so. So you've been forced to do that, which has been really good. And it's something that I've really enjoyed, and something that I believe will last even after this time. And because before this has been, you know, chaotic and just been go, 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 and no, there's no downtime to actually focus and, you know, plan your day and move things forward.
Yeah, fantastic. So let me ask you a bigger picture question. How long have you been in business for, Reshan?
For myself, I've been doing this for the last 3 years or so. It's been a huge learning curve, learning curve. And before that, I was actually an architect. So funny, doing that for a long time.
Quite a shift.
Yeah, it's a huge shift. But I see myself as someone that used those skills, because in architecture, you learn how to use, you know, I guess the way you think in a much different way. To think critically, to think strategically. And I believe all those things are things that you use in business, especially in the niche I'm in now. And it's just been a really fun experience. And the pivoting journey has been a big learning curve. But it's definitely been one that I've learned to embrace and absolutely loved along the process.
Can I ask you what the best piece of business advice you've ever received is?
Oh man, there's been many, but I would say the best piece of business advice that I've received, and this really helped, it's going to be controversial for a lot of you guys here that are watching this, but it's simply to have the mindset that whatever you're giving your clients, it's not based on price, but on value, right? And that's still so simple, but a lot of times, a lot of people, they cut corners, or they try to you know, bring things down to price value. And in terms of price, if you're selling something, you know, in terms of price, it's going to be really difficult, right? For example, if I have this, I'm recording this on the phone right now, but if I have a phone, my phone cost me $1,000 or so. It's a Galaxy Note 8, right? It's got my, you know, contact details for certain friends, family, and so on, right? Now, if that phone had the contact details of people, say Tony Robbins, Gary Vaynerchuk, Donald Trump, you know, and Richard Branson, all these people, right? And let's say that, you know, they all know that once they get a text message or a call from your number on that phone, they know that they should always answer and, you know, have a conversation with you. The value of that phone is now worth $1 million, right? Not $1,000. So in terms of whatever you're offering your market, make sure that it's based on value, not price. And one of the biggest advice I've got given from one of my personal mentors, Dennis Yu, absolutely love the guy. If you haven't checked him out, check him out. Is to to never work with clients that want the lowest price, because the reason why being is that they'll expect the most. And it's something I've seen, it's something I've worked against and gotten bitten in the past. But always offer things based on value, not on price.
Yeah, brilliant. It's not controversial. You're talking my language.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I found a lot of people, you know, argue with that because they've always been used to, you know, basing things on price. But
the reason to me is simple. People get driven by price because they can't differentiate their product. So if you're selling me something and I can't tell the difference between what you're selling me and what someone else is selling me. So here's the thing, you mentioned the phone example, but if I have two Samsung Galaxies next to each other, the same model, the same size in the box, and one's $10 cheaper than the other, I'm going to take the $10 cheaper one, right?
Yeah.
It's the same product. It's only when you stacked it up with all the value, the hidden value, that it made the difference. But the problem is, unless you told me those phone numbers are in there, I think it was the same product. Okay.
Exactly.
So the marketing is the educating of the client to understand the difference. And so I'm all over this. I'm 100% on board with you. I don't think it's controversial. I think it's brilliant. And I wish everyone else would agree with you, because, you know, it's exactly what makes the difference between people fighting on price and people actually being creative about how they communicate their value. So
I think you hit it on the head there, David, when you said, you know, communicating creatively. I think that's the main idea. I think a lot of people even look at marketing and sales as a means of a cost when it should be an investment into your business, and looking at that and pulling apart your offer and really dumbing it down. That's the one thing I learned in architecture, was taking something that is so complex and making it so simple that anyone can run with it.
Yeah.
And that's why every business owner has to look at their offers, whatever they're offering, especially right now, and just dumb it down there so anyone can understand it and know the value that you present.
Brilliant. Let me ask you, do you have a favorite author or book?
Yes, actually, I've got it here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, here it is.
It's in your back pocket.
It was
hilarious.
It was here. But it's actually a book by John C. Maxwell, right?
Yep.
And he's a great author and great speaker. And it's a book that's comprises of two books that he wrote into one: Developing Leaders Within You and Developing Leaders Around You. And why this book was really impacting is to understand that I can't lead others before I know how to first lead myself. And that's something, the fundamental thing about leadership and entrepreneurship, which, whatever you do in life, if you don't know how to lead yourself, it's very difficult to lead others. And if you're running an organization, leading yourself is, simply like having a morning routine, going to bed at a certain time, being intentional about learning things on a daily basis, intentional about creating, positive relationships. All these things is leading yourself. And once you know how to lead yourself, then, you're going to be a gun at leading others, which is really important.
Brilliant. Reshan, one last question for you. One piece of business advice that you'd give to someone right now.
Wow. Okay. I got quite a lot. And I was talking to David earlier about the book I'm writing at the moment. So that will go through all those things and break those things down.
Yeah.
But I think for me, the main thing is, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, is the importance of creating a personal brand for business owners, general managers, whoever you are, what position you are right now. You need to create a personal brand. And the fundamental reason is that, especially right now, people doing business, they're doing business with you, not your brand, not your brand voice. A lot of company jargon, corporate jargon out there. They're doing business with you. And the more you communicate with people on that level, even with the way you write your sales copy, whatever it is, just dumb it down. Be more relational. People are more inclined to respond. And creating videos like this, creating video content that just shares your story, who you are, and connects with your audience, is incredibly powerful. And you can do this and expand your reach with as little as $1 a day, which is something that I myself teach, and it's incredible, what that can do, and it's incredible the relationships that can bring. So I think that's the biggest advice I would give, is to really invest in your personal brand.
Awesome. Reshan, thanks so much for your time. Really enjoyed the conversation. Some great tips in there as well. So thank you.
No worries, David. It's been a pleasure.
Cheers.